What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and we're getting on to the project life today, doing a bulk catch-up. I hope this video gives you a bit of a boost in mojo if you're a bit behind in PL, like I am, like I always am, and like it's okay to be. Let's try and get a few pages done. I'm going to make another lot of the couch scrapping series. You guys really love that, and I really enjoyed it too. It helped me catch up, and I don't think I would have finished 2018 by now without it. So I am going to do another lot of that. Probably I'll film it during October because I will be quite couchy at that point, and I think this video is going up in October too, but I will film it in October, and then it won't be up until January because I have all of my videos figured out for the rest of the year. But I'm starting, and this is the week of Christmas, so this is always a big week. I've talked about it before, but we live in a place called the Central Coast, and it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Sydney, and all of our all of my high school friendship group, my main friendship group, have since moved away, but all of their parents live on the coast, and so we always see a lot of friends in the week of Christmas, which is why there's so many pages to catch up on at the end of the year. We also have, Aaron has split family, so we do multiple Christmases. We do 4 Christmases usually, and there's always a lot to document. So for today, we're working on 4 separate pages, and then there'll be another catch up in December, which will be coming out. I thought it would be good to do a Christmassy one in December to get the Christmas vibe going. But I've been holding on to this particular card. I have no idea where I got it from, but it's too small. It's smaller than 3x4, and I think every time I go to use it, I'm like, ugh, I'm not using it. And the bicycle throws me off because I don't ride a bike. I have a bike, but I don't ride a bike, and I never know how to use it. And so I just thought, look, it's time to get it out of your stash, rather than flicking through it, flicking past it every time. And so I just matted it on a round cornered card and then put a sticker over the top. So that's a great way if you have something in your stash that you just keep flicking through, you just keep flicking past it going, meh, I don't really like it, move on. Just use it. See if you can manipulate it in some way to make you like it, either by adding a tiny word sticker to cover something up, or by cutting it down to make it smaller and crop out the bits of the thing that you don't particularly like, and see if you can make it work. As I've had a complete mental blank. Project Runway, what is his name? Make it work. Oh, I've had a complete mental blank. I love that show so much. But yeah, see if you can make it work. I've said that so many times now. Let's move on, Adele. So for once, I finally had a strawberry themed thing to go with Archie's obsession with strawberries. Every time I scrapbook a photo of him eating straws, as we call them, I never know where the berry stickers and ephemera bits and pieces are, and then I find them way later on, and it drives me nuts. So I was really glad that I finally had it. For this one, this is an Inkie printable. It's one of my 4x6 journaling cards from several months ago, and I had the configuration of this pocket page, had 3x4s, but I really wanted to use this card. I just really like the red, and I just thought it was a nice splash of mixed media without the mess of actually doing mixed media. So I just cut it in half and made it into 2 3x4 cards. And this was Archie's Santa photo, and It was a little bit of a fail, we'll be honest. The problem was that we waited a long time, and we had to, that day we had to go somewhere else beforehand. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure we woke him up from his nap, so he was still a bit tired. It just didn't work out, and I've got a whole layout documenting his Christmas photo, which he wasn't a fan of at all. Maybe this year might be better, but in saying that, I'll have a newborn to also keep happy in the Santa photo, so keep you updated on that. I might actually try and film a process video and upload it maybe on Christmas Day of the Santa photo, and you can see if it was a success or not so much of a success. Do you get Christmas photos done? Do you get professional like Santa photos done? Here in Australia we have Santa's helpers that are in all of the shopping malls, and you can we call them shopping centres, and you can get a photo done. But boy oh boy, are they pricey. Wow, they're pricey. There's also a few here on the coast that I'd really love to do, but you've got to book into them early. I probably should book into them now, that are beach ones. So because it's summer here, you can go and sit with Santa on the beach and have like a beautiful rustic beachy bush background. I'd really love to get one of those done. I might see if that might be better for Arch this year. But now we're on to the next page, and I'm enjoying using up some 4x6 cards because I have a big stash of 4x6 cards, but I find that I rarely use them because if I do choose a page protector that has 4x6 pockets, I generally use that for 4x6 photos. So this, I'm not sure what was on the back of this one, but I must have had a 4x6 photo on the back, I'm thinking. But I've really been enjoying using 2x3 photos on a 4x6 card because it gives you enough room to add a bit of journaling and to add a bit of, filler card fun, some tiny words and embellishments, and you can still have a bit of fun decorating it like a teeny tiny little layout. Working through my tiny word stickers and adding all of the words to this one. Couldn't add enough words. Thought it was appropriate though because it was about Archie's obsession with books. I bought him this dinosaur book that goes through it to this day. It's one of his all-time favourites. We had book week not too long ago when I'm recording this voiceover, and for book week they had to bring in a book and dress up as the character from that book. And so he went dressed as a dinosaur one of the days and brought in this book and had such a good time swishing his tail around. So I must admit, I was dino mad when I was younger. I used to, in year one, we made recycled dinosaurs out of tissue boxes and toilet paper rolls and all of those fun things that you like to save from the recycling bin. And I loved my two dinos so very much. It must have been maybe like my old baby gate, or was it a playpen or something? And I would make a dinosaur zoo and little exhibits and charge my mum and dad 50 cents to come to the zoo and look at all the dinosaurs. So I can't wait to do that with Arch one day. Now in this photo, yes, Frida looks like she's dead, but she's not. Don't worry. If you've watched my channel for a while, you will be familiar with the dead bunny flop. So this is when a bunny is so relaxed and just feeling so chilled that they literally flop and look like they've passed. And it can definitely promote heart attacks in their human owners, because it's quite terrifying to walk across and find your bunny like this. Poppet does it with her legs actually a little bit in the air, which is even worse. And so whenever I can grab a photo of the dead bunny flop, I always try to catch it because it's quite a sight. It really is. But it makes me happy because it means she's feeling very relaxed. So then, speaking of pets, Archie's favourite place to be at my parents' house is their dog bed, and he's gotten into a bit of a habit of, at this point, of when he lies down, he loves to put like a foot up or an arm up and just lie in a really strange, awkward angle. Do you ever look at your kids or grandkids or friends' kids and think, how are you comfortable right now? Archie does this all the time, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Why is that comfortable? How is it comfortable? And so I, of course, had to snap a photo of him on the dog bed. He's got like a little table and chairs and all sorts of other places, comfier places that he could go, but the dog bed is where it's at. So I'm just sticking all of these little bits and bobs done. I think this may have been Christmas Eve, or maybe I think this was Christmas Eve that all of this was happening. Or are we after Christmas now? No, it's Christmas Eve, I think. So I'm just adding a little bit of journaling down here about that, and I just wrote straight onto the background card. And the background card is actually one that I've had for a while, and I felt like I felt a bit restricted to use it because it was mountains, and I thought I needed to use it for like an adventure-y, holiday-y kind of page, but we don't really go places a lot. And so it's just been sitting in my stash. But the view from Mum and Dad's place is of all of these beautiful mountains and hills. What's the difference between a mountain and a hill? Is a hill smaller? They'd be hills. They're not mountains. And so I thought it was appropriate to put that there. And then on the TV, it looks like there's clouds. So I thought mountain, clouds, they go together. But now we're on to page number 3. And this was Christmas Eve, that's for sure. And we caught up with a group of our friends that had all come back from various states. There's one from Western Australia, there was one from Queensland, there was some from Sydney, and then us, the locals. And we caught up for breakfast, which was really nice. So I snapped some pictures. That top photo is the epitome of an Aussie Christmas. Blue skies and beach. A lot of people spend Christmas at the beach, which I know may be a very foreign concept for people that live in colder parts of the world. But I'm really hoping that Christmas is cool. Well, it won't be cool. It'll be hot, but not over 40 degrees. It'd be really nice if Christmas was in the low 30s. That would be doable, but not too hot, please. So this is, I always try to grab a picture of all of the presents that I wrap for our family the night before, and to make things easier, because we do Christmas Day at different people's houses. We usually do breakfast somewhere, lunch somewhere, and dinner somewhere. We have been known to do 4 in one day: breakfast, morning tea, lunch, and then dinner, with a 4-hour car drive in there as well. We won't do that again. That was too much. But I like to separate the presents into tubs, because we can just load them in the back of the car, and we know we're going to Nana and Popo's house. So this is the Nana and Popo tub with presents for them and Great Nana. Then we go to Nanny's house with the uncles, and this is all their presents. And then we go to Nana's house with the uncles, and this is all their presents. And it just makes it a whole lot easier to keep everything in order, because otherwise things get all muddled up. But this year we've decided for the first Christmas, whenever we have kids, a newborn, I should say. Not that the second one, the second one hasn't even been born yet. We're not planning the third one anytime soon. Don't get excited, peeps. But we've decided that the first Christmas, if possible, we'd really love to stay at home, because luckily Aaron's brothers and sisters don't have children yet. They don't have families. They're all younger. And so we're able to, and they all live close by within a 5-10 minute radius, except for one group of parents and kids. And so we are hoping to stay home for Christmas this year. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. That would make life a lot easier with a not even 6-week-old baby. That's for sure. So then I've had these little calendar pages in my stash for a while. I think they were cut apart from crepe paper. Could have been from confetti, I think, a few years ago. And whenever I can use them, I love to try and incorporate them. So, for example, if there's someone's birthday or a special date that I want to emphasize, I try to use them. And so I thought that it would be fun to do just a Christmas Eve little card. And then I added some journaling here, live by the sun, because I am a little bit of a vampire, except that I like garlic. That's the only thing that separates me, I think, from being an actual vampire, is that I love garlic. But I do not like sunshine. I do not like the light. I'd be happy. I sound like a Dr. Seuss book. I'd be happy to stay inside because the light gives me a fright. I'm just not an outside kind of person, which is why I've also had this Hello Beach in my stash for many years. Even though we live literally 2 minutes or less from the beach, we don't go there very often at all. I just burn way too easy, even with sunscreen on. It's just the redhead in me, unfortunately. And so whenever I can use beachy things, just like travel things, we don't travel often, so whenever I can use travel-y things, I try to use them all as much as possible. I thought this is something that I don't do often, and I feel like I should, just because I make my albums I'd make them for documenting purposes, but I also make them for the creative process and the fun of me looking back at my memories. But I also kind of need to consider people looking back at them in years to come and not knowing who is in the photo. That's something I don't do often enough. So let me know if you have a group shot with, say, family friends or family members that you see quite a lot. Do you write everybody's name on the photos as well? Or do you just do it sometimes, or do you never do it? Because I'd be going like a sometimes never kind of bracket, I think. So for that group photo, I definitely wanted to try and write everybody's names down there, just so that we know who's in the photo in many years to come. So these photos are of Christmas morning. Santa had arrived. He had left some goodies for Arch, and we only had, I think the poor little guy only had about 20 minutes maybe to play with them before we had to go on to our first Christmas adventure for the day. And then we went out for breakfast, which went for several hours, and then came back and he had a nap. And then we headed out again and did, I think we did lunch and dinner together. And then we didn't get home until bedtime. So his day, Boxing Day, is more so the day that he gets to play with Christmas toys, poor thing, at home. And so I wanted to capture some photos, of course. His excitement over the kitchen. The kitchen was a good choice by Santa. That was a very good choice indeed, because it is definitely one of his most used favourite things in our lounge room that he plays with, and he makes little concoctions. His favourite thing to cook at the moment is chocolate noodles. Don't know what genius thought that up, but I'd like to try chocolate noodles because they sound pretty good. I like both of those things. So together, I think they'd be a pretty bomb-diggity dinner, if I do say so myself. These two cards were actually part of a Patreon video that I filmed. I have a feeling I filmed it at the end of last year, and I made some DIY journaling cards, and they're really handy if you are catching up on Project Life and you just want to have some things that are already pre-made, pre-done, you'll also see that I've been using a lot of DIY embellishments as well, which has been handy. And so I grabbed these and wrote down the 3 things that we did on Christmas Day. This card was perfect actually because it had the 3 little tickets there, and it was also red, and red's a bit of it's a festive kind of colour. I thought it was good to put the plan of what we did because it does change slightly. Well, the last few years it has changed a little bit from year to year. I would say the last 3 years we haven't done the same thing. There's been slight variations. Last year we split it over Christmas Day and Boxing Day. The year before we were at home because it was Archie's first Christmas and people came to us. And then I think the year before we spent it with Aaron's dad, and we spent from the 23rd of December up there with them. So we had belated Christmas on the coast. But I hope this video has given you a bit of PL inspo. I will be doing my couch scrapping soon, and hoping to get, let's see if I can smash that 80-page goal that I had last time. We'll see if I can manage it this time. Let's go for 50 first. All right, peeps, I will see you in the next video very soon. Bye.